I'm not going to waste your time with a long intro, so here's the deal. I promise these tips will help you get your finances in order. And trust me, that's the first step toward financial freedom. And yeah, I know it is boring maybe, but if you don't do it, you'll be stuck in the rat race forever. So here's the plan. First, I'll show you how to figure out your baseline. Then I'll show you how to build an emergency fund, then how to start investing. Then we'll talk 401k, Roth IRAs, and automating your finances, okay? Why I'm doing that? Because I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. I've been there for years, and I want to help you get out of that. Now, I can make millions in a month, but it all started with a simple sheet. I'm being real with you. Oh, and if you're enjoying my content, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment just below. I'll be replying to everybody. So, let's dive in. First of all, stop that, oh, but I know in my mind how much I can spend every month. Just stop right now. Step 1, know your baseline. You need to visualize the numbers. Why? I had a friend, and we'll call him Jack. I can say the real name. Jack earns a high income like 15K a month. That's quite good, right? But Jack just spends it without writing down his expenses. So here's where it gets wild. One day, Jack was at his favorite restaurant, ordering his usual, living it up like always, when his card gets declined, and he's just sitting there confused. Now Jack's first reaction is pure confidence. He thought, this has to be a mistake. There's no way. So he tells the waiter, try it again. Declined again. Now he's sweating, and Jack pulls out his phone, opens his banking app, and then it hits him. He's got less than $50 in his account. He can't believe it. He scrolls through the transactions, and here's the kicker. It wasn't some big purchase that drained his account. It was all the little stuff. Daily takeout, random Amazon buys, Uber rides, streaming services he forgot about. And here's the real twist. Jack thought he had a handle on his finances because his paycheck was quite fat, but he never tracked a single thing. In his mind, everything was fine until it wasn't. Moral of the story, don't be like Jack. Get those numbers in front of you. You can't manage what you don't track. So pull up that Google sheet, get real with yourself, and figure out exactly how much is coming in and where it's going. Here's the deal. We're gonna use the 50-30-20 rule to get your finances straight. 50% of your income, this goes to the essentials. I'm talking rent, groceries, bills, the stuff you can't live without. So if you make 10K a month, 5K goes here. It's just simple, right? Then 30%, this is your fun money. Dining out, Netflix, that new gadget you've been eyeing, basically anything that makes life better but isn't absolutely necessary. So 3K for the good times. And finally, we've got 20%, which normally goes to savings, but here's the twist. You're gonna use it for knocking down debt or getting ahead with financial goals. That's 2K toward getting rid of those credit card bills or paying off loans much faster. Okay, but maybe 50% of your income barely covers the essentials, or it's not enough at all. In that case, you'll flip the percentages. Try something like 60-20-20, where 60% goes to essentials, 20% to flexible spending, and 20% goes toward financial goals. The key here is to make sure you're prioritizing what's most important for you, like keeping a roof over your head and food on the table, without stressing about fitting perfectly into the original rule. On the flip side, if your income is pretty high, following the 50-30-20 rule might feel unnecessary. In that case, try 30-30-40 or even 10-10-80. I don't know. This way, you can allocate a smaller percentage to essentials and put a larger chunk toward investments, savings, or other financial goals like creating multiple streams of income. The more, the better. And remember, these percentages are just a guide, not the law. The real goal is to make sure you have a plan for your money that works for you. Just the rule to fit your situation, whether you are scraping by or swimming in cash. And I hope you're swimming in cash. Then, emergency fund. I genuinely don't care if you make 1 million a day or 3,000 a month or 15,000 a month like our friend Jack. If you don't have an emergency fund, you're trapped. Let's talk about Mark, a friend of mine who used to make 3K a month working as a financial advisor back in college. His income was unpredictable. Some months were good, others not so much. And one morning, Mark's car broke down on his way to a client meeting. No big deal, right? Well, it turned out the repairs were more expensive than he thought. 2.5K to fix the engine. That was nearly his entire month's pay going in a flash. Suddenly, Mark panicked. With no emergency fund, he had no choice but to put the repair bill on his credit card. Now he was facing high interest payments, which only added more pressure to his already tight budget. Then, a month later, his luck got even worse. He came down with a nasty flu that knocked him out for 2 weeks. In his financial advisor world, no work generally meant no income. And between the car repair debt and lost income, Mark quickly found himself in a financial hole. And the stress, it was eating him alive. He started to realize that if he had just put a little money aside for emergencies, he wouldn't have been in this mess. Now, imagine if Mark had built an emergency fund. That 2.5K car repair, it was covered. Those 2 weeks of lost income, not a problem. And how you can get started? Simple. You just go to step 1. You add up your monthly essential costs, rent, bills, food, and etc. Then you go for step 2. You just multiply that number by 6 to 12 months, depending on how much of a safety net you want. Then step 3. You set aside a consistent amount each month to build your fund. And we already defined these in the baseline, right? You don't need to do this overnight. You start with a smaller target, like 1 month's expenses, and then gradually stack it up. The key is to be consistent. For example, if your essential monthly expenses are 3K, the minimum goal is 3K times 6, and this equals 18K. Your maximum goal is 3K times 12, that equals 36K. Don't panic if that number seems huge. You start small, maybe $100 or $500, and just keep chipping away. And one more point, saving for your emergency fund isn't something you need to work on forever. Once you've saved 6 to 12 months worth of expenses, you can stop saving and focus on investing. It's time for the fun part, the investing time. And I have a piece of paper right here to show you why. Did you know a sheet of paper is only 0.1 millimeters thick? Now fold it once and it doubles to 0.2 millimeters. You fold it again and it's 0.4 millimeters. After 7 folds, it's already about as thick as a notebook. But here's what it gets crazy. If you could fold it 10 times, the paper would be thicker than your hand. At 20 folds, it would reach the height of a building. If you could somehow fold it 103 times, it would be as thick as the observable universe. I know it sounds a little crazy, but this is the same logic that applies to investments. That's how compound interest works. If you invest $100 per month with a 13% interest rate, after 1 year, you have 1,000.3K. In 5 years, 8.4K. In 10 years, 23.7K. In 20 years, 103K. And before you freak out thinking it's complicated or impossible, don't worry, because it's way simpler than people make it out to be. Now, there's 3 core principles to invest that anyone must know. 1, invest regularly, no matter what's happening. You don't need to guess when the market is gonna go up or down. You just put in a set amount of money each month. This is called dollar cost averaging, the DCA. It keeps you from trying to time the market, and trust me, that's a game no one wins. 2, you diversify. This is key. You don't put all your money into one thing. You spread it across different investments, stocks, bonds, real estate. That way, if one thing dips, you've still got other stuff keeping you safe. 3, keep it low-key with index funds. If you're just starting, index funds are your best friend. They follow the market, so you are not trying to pick winning stocks. It's low cost, hands-off, and solid for long-term growth. Let's break it down with some real numbers. Let's say we start with $300 a month. $180 into stocks, use an index funds, $90 into bonds, and $30 into real estate or cash. Over time, with the market growing at about 7% annually on average, and I'm I'm being really conservative now, that $300 per month turns into, in 10 years, $52,000, in 20 years, $157,000, in 30 years, $368, and in 40 years, it becomes an impressive $792,000. And I'm not going to go into more depth because it's a very extensive subject. But if you want to know more, check out the videos I've already posted, and don't forget to follow me because I intend to post a lot more. But after discussing investments, let's shift to safer options for retirement, because investments generally carry more risk. I'm not going to give specific advice on how much you should allocate to retirement accounts versus riskier investments, because that depends on factors like your salary, age, and personal goals. But I can make another video where I break down the math based on different scenarios. Just let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. Let's dive first into the 401k, because this is not just a retirement plan. It's like a golden ticket to building wealth. So what makes the 401k so special? First, when you contribute, that money goes in before taxes, which means you are immediately lowering your taxable income. For example, let's say you earn $50,000 and contribute $5,000. You are now only taxed on $45,000. And here's the real kicker. Your contributions grow tax-free until you retire. You're not just saving money, you're letting it multiply without Uncle Sam taking a cut along the way. Now let's sweeten this deal. Many employers offer to match a portion of your contributions. This is free money. Let me put it this way. If your company matches 50% of the first 6% you contribute, and you're putting in $3,000 a year, they're throwing in another $1,500. It's like your employer is handing you cash just for saving for your own future. But if you're not contributing enough to get that full match, you're leaving easy money on the table. Don't do that. For 2024, the contribution limits are generous. $23,000 if you're under 50 years. And if you're over 50, you can toss in an extra $7,500. Maxing this out is one of the smartest moves you can make, both for lowering your taxes today and for giving your retirement savings a serious boost. Most 401k plans offer a range of investments, but a target date fund is a no-brainer for a lot of people. It automatically adjusts as you get closer to retirement. Less risk, more growth, and a whole lot less stress. And now, here comes the Roth IRA account. Another thing you must have is a Roth IRA. Here's the deal. With a Roth IRA, you pay taxes on your money now, but once it's in the account, it grows completely tax-free. Think of it like planting a tree. You're putting in the work up front, paying taxes on your income today, but once that tree grows, all the fruit it produces, whether it's from stocks, bonds, or other investments, belongs to you tax-free. You don't have to worry about the government coming back for a piece of your gains. In 2024, you can contribute up to $6.5K annually or $7.5K annually if you're 50 or older. That's over $500 a month that goes into an account that will keep growing tax-free for decades. Imagine how that adds up over time, especially with the power of compound interest. It's one of the smartest moves you can make for your future self. Then comes maybe the most important part of it all, is now you must automate your finances. See, they've taught you a flawed approach. Income minus expenses equals what's left to invest. This is a mistake. Flip it around. The real equation is this: income minus what you invest equals what you can spend. It's about thinking ahead, looking after your future self, because no one else will. And what will make this possible? Automation. Because you're not a machine. You need this to avoid mistakes. Automation allows you to focus on bigger decisions, and it's about knowing your bills are taken care of. And here's the plan. Automate your savings first. Before paying any bills, set up an automatic transfer to your investment account every month. This ensures that savings is always your priority. And once your savings are automated, then automate your bills. When both are set up, whatever is left in your checking account is what you can spend. No need for complicated budgeting. You've already secured your future and paid your obligations. Every few months, review your system and adjust if needed. But once it's set up, up, it will work for you. You have peace of mind, knowing your future self is well taken care of, and you live comfortably now within your means. Well, that's it, cousins. And if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.